Welcome to our wrap up day, Friday. Mindset Mastermind around the power of one more. Ed Milet, we've consumed all 19 chapters. I know you guys have lots of takeaways in and amongst those 200 plus pages. And so today is just an open conversation about what got your attention, what you plan on running with. Simplest way, if you're not sure, just open, find your green highlight and go. So what do you guys have that you'd love to chat and share one more time as we wrap up this content? Go for it, Ryan, buddy.
First of all, like, this book is transformational if you allow it to be. That's my overall thought on this. This is immediately apply it and go for it and don't look back. Make the changes, do one more, take the opportunities, because really, if you look in the grand scheme of life and the grand scheme of, I guess, our whole universe, we're just here for a speck of time. So find gratitude, find joy in the process, and keep pushing yourselves to become the person that you want to become. We're all going to go through struggles. We're all going to have setbacks, and that's okay. It shapes us, and you learn from those things to be stronger because of them. That's the essence of what I pulled from this.
Well, and the cool part about that, you could just take one chapter and say that's what we're going to implement this year.
Yeah.
I mean, so many nuggets that if you just drilled in and focused and stayed on it, it's going to accelerate the business, accelerate the life. And that's the goal of the time and the space. So Josh, buddy, what got your attention?
Three things. One, I'm excited this guy's coming to Cabo, that he's the speaker in Cabo next year. I'd like to see him in person. Two things. Some of the books that we've read over the last however long it is seem like they can be overwhelming, that each chapter kind of builds on the previous. And I think this is one of those books that isn't as overwhelming. Like, it's just a good reminder. It's the easier tidbits to just kind of go back to the basics. And like Ryan said, re-implement one or two things as you're maybe having a short-term struggle. It's one of those books that you don't have to start reading from the first chapter. You could just pick it up and open it up and start reading it. And a lot of the things you read in this genre, if you get behind, if you get overwhelmed, it's hard to keep moving forward. And so this one, I would encourage anybody to keep it close and open it up and go, okay, yeah, oh, I remember that. And that'll just get you to jump back into the book over times when you need to. It's kind of like that What to Say book. You could just pick that one up at any point in time and jump into it.
Awesome. Any particular one that's on your head to jump in at this point, Josh? Just curious. You're muted.
I like the One More Goal chapter, chapter 9.
Yep.
Rather than just going through and I understand the reason why you start with the goal setting. I can't remember what book that was. That was a couple books ago where he went through very in depth on how to start that. But I think you can always implement one more thing, baby steps.
Awesome. Excellent. Julianne, I saw your mic come on. What do you got, my dear?
Oh, well, okay, well, everybody already knows how much I just love this man. So, in his words and it's so motivational, and it's exactly like Josh said. This is something you can go back to and just pick up, just touching back on a chapter, trusting that, if you're feeling off, you can spend time, you can meditate, pray, and open up this book, and you'd be like, what is it that I need to know? What do I need to see? and you ask, I ask my guardian angels to help me find the words where I'm getting stuck. And because, I'm not a conventional prayer. Mr. Milet is. When he prays, he is down on his knees. If he's talking to God, thanking him or asking him or whatever he's talking, he is on his knees, and he does that intentionally, no matter where he is. If he needs to talk to God, he is on his knees because he uses physical triggers. He also uses physical work to implement and plant it in. There's little, when he was live, he went through all of his rituals, and there are literally, he can go through his ritual of a whole day because it's so routine to him, because it's so intentional and it has purpose. And, when I pick up my phone and I'm scrolling, it's not intentional. It's distraction. For me, the one more question is the biggest chapter for me, because it's something that I preach, but I don't practice. So one more question, it really helps to get you to dig deep and deeper, and it's asking the right questions. And that's often where we go wrong, is we're not asking ourselves the right questions. Why me? That's not a good question. um, and the focus on if building your dream, oh God, yesterday we talked about, so far as having the deep passion, the why. And it's like you were talking, Coach, about the what's your life going to look like if you don't change? What is your life going to look like if you what's the worst case scenario? And paint it worse, because things can get worse. Because you know what? Sometimes when we sit there and we paint the pretty picture with all the self-talk, we can't plan. I just was talking about, oh, you guys are getting it. Cabo. You're like, yeah. When did they announce that? When do you guys get to see Mr. Milet?
So here's the fun part for me, because you brought up two components that were really part of our conversations over the last 2 days in our mastermind. And in fact, Ryan, I have added intentional to our word bank for the whole word mastermind. That was another great one for the word bank. So thank you for that, Juliana. You threw these two diametric energies or choices, really, we have: intentionality versus distraction. And just how much of every day is spent in distraction versus really intentional activity, action towards getting to those long-term goals. And again, it ties into with some of his writing there at the end on one more, and that this is a finite experience. Everybody plays this life as an infinite one, not knowing, what the next day brings, and thinking I'll always have time. And you always have time till you don't. You always have your health till you don't. You always have family till you don't. Because again, as the content said, everything is coming to an end. Doesn't matter what it is. It's coming to an end. And so that was one piece I wanted to make sure we got in there. And then the other one you brought in, Julianne, simultaneously that we worked on, is this positive vision and negative. How we frame that, many in this room have been in that space with me, is pain versus pleasure. And it's so interesting. If people look at the short run, which they almost always do, they choose the pleasure. They're not worried about the pain. Yet when you future pace those behaviors, which we all know what it looks like, let's just say you're not taking care of your health like you should. We all know what that looks like over time. We all know what the end result of that is. And yet we're not that motivated in the moment because we're not thinking about that. So I'm going to also challenge you guys, as Julianne said, on visualization. Not only visualize the goals as they're done, also visualize the life if you don't take the actions, if you don't do the work. Bring that future to present so you are aware and a little more inspired to get action now. Who else?
I mean, I'll hop in.
Great to see you, Ann. What do you got?
Yes, with regards to what you were just saying, like, what if you don't do it? For me, it was the One More Inconvenience chapter, because at the end of the day, in real estate, it's doing the inconvenient thing that none of us want to do, right? Like, it's picking up a phone and interrupting somebody and getting comfortable with interrupting somebody. That's what we always do when we call somebody, right? A text is like, hey, are you around? Do you want to talk right now? But a phone call is, I'm interrupting you. We're going to have this conversation. So whether it's bad news about their deal, or, hey, have you thought about buying or selling a house in the next year, or some other real estate conversation, it's doing the uncomfortable work, the inconvenient work of interrupting people. And I don't know, I was looking for a quote, but I'm too tired right now to focus on talking and hearing and looking for a quote. But I did a lot of work after that chapter on, like, how we put our future self into debt because our today self doesn't want to do the painful thing. And it's not painful, right? Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Joanne. Yes. Good morning.
Well, this
It's
interruption piece.
Inconvenient. It's, do it.
This interruption piece, I want to give you guys a nugget today because you're here, that came out of our brainstorming session. And I will tell you guys right now, we have in our midst an incredible wordsmith in Justin Fransky. We were having so much fun because, I'd bring a lot of my content and he sees things so radically different that some of his ahas were just freaking brilliant. And I want to share one with you because we always talk about salutation. Hey, Ann, this is Russ. And then clear the time. Is this a good time to talk? Used to be the one. Then we shifted to, did I reach you at a bad time? So they can say no, which really means yes to you. So here is the new one. You guys might want to write it down. Freaking so on point. And in fact, Ann and I, can we role play it real quick? So turn your mic on.
Me?
You're going to be the person I'm calling, okay, Ann?
Okay. Hi.
Ring, ring.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, Ann, this is Russ Collio, eXp Realty. Is there a worse time that I could call you?
Oh,
see what happens?
You're like, you don't know what.
Tell me that is not
I
the
don't like
most awesome. Tell me that's not the most awesome clear the time. Is there a worse time that I could call you? It is unexpected. It's going to have them pause and think, and they're going to laugh because you understand in a fun way that you're interrupting them.
That was good.
Will you test it today? Will you play with it today?
Yes.
All right. Because that, if you're having fun in that and having, joy, and you're breaking people down and bringing them to a lighter state, all of a sudden, call time's not going to be that inconvenient because you're actually having great times. So I can't wait to hear from you guys how this works. I wanted to share it with you. And again, make sure when Justin's back in the room next week, if you've used this, give that gratitude. And he had so many others, just looking at things through a totally different lens, listening to him because we did live call time in that room, and listening to him in his conversations as a coach, how far he's come along from being with us and doing this work and asking questions. And it's just light and day, a 12-month change in the quality and level of his conversations. So what else? Because I'll just say, hey, there should be a book on One More Conversation, right? What else you guys take out of the content? Ryan, you're back in, brother. Love it.
Yeah. The chapter that it's poignant to me is One More Association, because our businesses are a lot of times are moving. The real estate industry is moving away from brick and mortar to to a cloud type of brokerage, which definitely is where it needs to be. However, there is some substance to understanding the association with others. Okay, it's understanding that one more connection, one more person that you can have a positive relationship with, build more rapport with. You don't know who you're going to come across just when you walk out of a workshop, that they could impact your life in a different way. You don't know who you're going to, when you're sitting down at the pizza shop with your family, that the family next to you could need something, and then you can help them. There's so many things out there, so many associations out there that can be such a powerful relationship that, you know, sitting in your office or something like that, just waiting for things to come to you, where the relationships matter. You go out there and find more relationships, and it like, to me, it recharges my batteries every time I have other conversations. Yeah, we've been hurt in business, we've been hurt in relationships, but those associations, one more association, I'll take the positive gratefulness look at things. And there's so many opportunities to grow out there, and I'm just so excited to be a part of them. And that's what really resonated with me, was like, he even said like Lincoln Park and Florida Georgia Line, and, you know, like, name a band, it doesn't matter, you know, like football teams or basketball teams, all these greatness of these teams and bands, and, you know, duos that you see on comedy duos and stuff like that. There's all types of ways that you can look at the associations. The sum is greater than the parts. So that, to me, is, I mean, look at what we do in here. I know I'm better because of every day that I'm in here. And I know that I can't walk down the hallway to get to you guys, but I can pick up the phone and have a rapport with each one of you guys and ladies,
Yeah.
to make an impact on my life. And I'm grateful for that.
Well, and I love in that chapter that it really educated everybody that when it comes to people, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 plus the right one can equal 10x. Finding the right people, leveraging in, leaning in. So this room right here, you guys are accelerating because of the relationship, because of the connection, because the nuggets, the different perspectives, that open-mindedness to listen to others and be willing to maybe take the nuggets from there that serve you and move quickly. And if you weren't in this room, that wouldn't be happening. And I've had the joy of watching so many of you who have thought historically, I've got to do everything on my own. And now that you're playing in this space, not only are you doing more, you're doing it better. So makes me smile. Appreciate it. Who else? Grab that book, crack it open. Let's go. We got 9 more
I was
minutes.
just going to say, on building on what Ryan was talking about, one more association, I just want to thank all you guys for showing up, because this room here has made a ton of difference for me.
Happy to be here for you, my dear. And always love our conversations offline too. Appreciate you calling and asking for help on a regular basis. I wore out a bunch of people in Dallas, so they're not here. I'm going to give you guys another couple minutes here, and then if nobody's going to speak up, I'm just going to shut it down. Julianne, come on back.
Well, obviously this is my first experience with you all. And so I'm going to jump on the love train and just share my appreciation for this group. And you're right. Every single chapter in this book, hearing from other people, their takeaways from it, their spin on it. And then it makes a big difference in understanding people, because it should be black and white. The words are the words, but the way they're written and the way that it's almost these are living, breathing, books are living, breathing things. And to be a part of this book club is truly, truly amazing. So I'm adding this to my goals, is to make sure that I'm staying in the books and staying in association, because there's growth here and I see it, and you guys are wonderful. Thank you.
So not only adding it to your goals, Ryan, where else should it be?
Sorry, I was highlighting something. Can you repeat it?
I said not. Oh, she's talking about adding the mastermind, the morning mindset mastermind, to her goals, making sure she's here, making sure she's in the content, as well as adding it to her goals. Where should she be adding it to?
Her calendar.
Because if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. We did a deep dive on scheduling calendaring on Wednesday and really got into the activities of building that. Perfect. You even have reminders going. That is awesome. So make sure all of you, it's on your calendar, even with a reminder, is even plussing it one more. Carrie, you got a lot of background noise. The mic is now hot. What do you got?
I just wanted to say that EXP has made a difference in my life, and I'm really glad that I've been a part of this book club, because it's clearly made changes in my life, and I feel like in my career it's gotten me to a better place, and because of that I should be all switched over to EXP by Monday.
Awesome. I'm so excited you're coming over and joining, my dear. Appreciate that immensely. And I want to change two things in language for everybody. And these, you'll hear me constantly on this, and this is a repetition piece. This is a mindset mastermind. That's what we're doing here. Yes, there's a book written content now supporting it, but it's not a book club. We're not sitting around just, chattering and going off topic. We're staying on how does this change our world, and really masterminding around what's going on between the ears for the most part. So that's one, mindset mastermind. Number two, this thing called EXP is just a platform for us to operate our business on top of. Everywhere else you're working under a brokerage model, here it's just a platform. So for all of you, I just want to really stress the key is that you are plugging into the Renegade Real Estate Group, to the Epic Real Estate Group, these two companies, one inside the other, that are serving and helping each other and helping all of you on this platform. What you're going to discover as you're out there is there's people that have been at quote EXP that have left because they had no support. They had no community. They had no connection. You'll also find that in our little world because they're not plugging in. So let's make sure that people in your world, whether they're EXP or not, that we get them plugging in with our group. That's going to make the difference for them, because they're around a room full of people. I'm looking right now that care about them. They want to make sure they're successful. And that means we got to step out of our comfort zone and invite them to come play with us. So next week, guys, starting Monday, I'm going to wait to announce that because Ryan's got something. Go, buddy.
I'm going to challenge everybody. Put your contact information in the chat right now. And the reason why I'm asking that is reach out to somebody. I'm going to show how grateful I am for everybody in this group by reaching out. I do it daily, if not weekly, with everybody on here. So make an impact on somebody's life. Put your information in the chat, have a conversation, send a text message, tell them that you appreciate their thoughts and their perspective. Even if you think that they're a wacko, still just say, hey, you're awesome in your own way.
All right. So that being said, we're going to wrap up just a moment or two early because I want to make sure that you guys are prepped for Monday. So we're getting into more skill set book this time. Profit First. Absolutely a different way of looking at the financials of your business as well as your life. And this is, first of all, going to get you guys really thinking about what you're doing now as a business. Almost every real estate agent steps in this space, and all they've ever learned is the JOB of real estate. And that's exactly what brokerages want them to do. Stay in the job, stay on the hamster wheel, keep being a cog in the bigger business that's brokerage. Brought this book in because I want you guys thinking of your business truly as a business and running it that way. So this is going to help you understand the financials behind. And number two, it's going to flip your traditional training on accounting on its head and make it to where you never fall into a financial pit going forward. If you follow the models that we're going to go through, you implement this in not only your business world, your personal world, some amazing things are going to happen going forward, and it's going to unwind a lot of stress about money. So I'm excited about this. So make sure you've got it. Make sure you have read through chapter 1. So intro in chapter 1, where we get to learn how our businesses are just revenue consuming monsters. And by all means, invite other folks to this. This is a key business tome. Anybody know business, whether it's real estate, whether it's lending, whether it's home inspection, title, automotive, I don't care what industry somebody's in, you have clients that are in business, invite them. It gives you an excuse to call them today. All right.